Welcome to Wellbeing Wednesday. Well, the summer is passing really quickly and soon we're going to have to get used to a new norm. I'm sure all of us have started some new habits over this time. Some good and some not so good. It's all gone a bit crazy. One of the habits that Cal and I started during this time was meeting with my mum for dinner on a Sunday night on FaceTime. We had not seen her since the beginning of lockdown and we lost my dad earlier this year. So she was having to eat on her own after 64 years of sharing a meal. This was a good habit and a way to sit and eat and enjoy her company. But there are some habits that are not quite so good. And some of the habits involve sleep, which is one we're definitely going to have to review before we go back to school or work. We're all different, right, we know that, but even in sleep and wake characteristics. Me, when I'm awake, I'm awake. I'm chirpy and happy, ready for a conversation and quite smiley, at my best first thing. This I know is pretty annoying for those of you who take a while to wake. But then when I get tired around 10ish, I become quiet and don't really want a conversation and not quite so happy. Faye, on the other hand, is at her most productive later on and could chat for hours. Which one are you? Generally speaking, most of us need between 7 and 9 hours in every 24. And I don't know about you, but I get a bit grouchy when I haven't had enough sleep. I heard a few things at the Limitless session this year, which was brilliant if you get a chance to watch it. And I needed reminding of a few things. The first thing, sleep is as important as eating, drinking and breathing. We need it. Number 2, to learn anything from yesterday's day, we need to sleep well, else our brain cannot store, process and then access information at a later date. It's a bit like if we misfile stuff and we can't find it again later. And number 3, poor sleep is linked to physical problems and a weakened immune system. Anyone who experiences anxiety or depression has nearly always a problem with sleep. Do you know that they use sleep deprivation as torture? I remember when Cal and I did a lock-in with some young people when we were awake for about 36 hours. After about 20, I couldn't string a sentence together and my vision started to go. I was just talking total gibberish. So, we need to believe sleep is important and to actually want to change something when our minds and bodies are not getting what they need. I am not saying it's okay to sleep past 12. Every day and round to our family when they want us up and helping. That helps no one. A compromise maybe. So what does Jesus say about this? I wanted to see what the Bible said about sleep. And one story that popped into my mind was when Jesus was asleep in the boat in Matthew. There was a storm raging and he was fast asleep while his disciples were fretting. Why was it that Jesus was sleeping? He didn't worry at all. He totally trusted God with everything. Quite often it seems sleep eludes us because we worry. Are you totally trusting him with your life? Psalm 91, 1-5 and Psalm 4:8 both say some good things about sleep. But the one I like is verse 4-8. In peace I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. That's Psalm 4:8. So perhaps handing things over to him and trusting him with our stuff would be a really good place to start. We hear lots about sleep hygiene, but what is it? Sleep hygiene is basically different things we can do to help ourselves have the necessary quality night's sleep and a day full of alertness. Important stuff. Everyone can benefit from practicing good sleep habits. One of the most important sleep hygiene practices is to spend an appropriate amount of time asleep in bed. Not too little, not too much. Our needs vary across ages and is hugely impacted by our lifestyle and our health. There are lots of good sleep hygiene practices, but here's a few to start with. Exercise is good for quality sleep. As little as 10 minutes of aerobic exercise like walking or cycling, like Faye was talking about last week, can be brilliant and drastically impact our night's sleep. It's best not to do this just before bedtime, but this can vary, so try it out. Number 2, some foods can be disruptive right before sleep. Rich or heavy foods, fatty, fried foods, and some drinks can trigger indigestion. The best choice is to give your body plenty of time to sort that food out before going to bed. And while we're talking about what we put into our bodies, caffeine is huge, so try not to have it before you go to sleep. It includes lots of our favourite foods, unfortunately, coffee and tea, carbonated drinks, energy drinks and chocolate. Yes, chocolate. It can take up to 12 hours for caffeine to be out of our system. It's not a good recipe for quality night sleep. If we can sort a relaxing bedtime routine out, it helps our bodies recognise it's bedtime. This could include taking a shower or bath or reading a book. When possible, try to avoid emotional conversations or reading texts or messages that can get our mind working overtime. It's just not a good recipe for good night's sleep. Just a few simple changes can make the difference between a good night's sleep and a night spent tossing and turning. There are lots more ideas, so if these do not need to change, look it up or chat to someone about your habits. And remember, trust him who knows you better than anyone as you place your head on that pillow. Have a great week. Bye.